Today we have Madhuri, and she is having 7 years of experience in Java, Spring Boot, and microservices. And those who want to give same free mock interview, please fill out the form below in the description. So now let's get started. Hey, hello Madhuri, how are you?
Yeah, hi Faison. I'm good. How are
Okay.
you?
Yes, I'm also good. Shall we start?
Yes.
Okay. Can you please introduce yourself and your recent project in brief?
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you. And I'm having like 7 years of experience in Java with the
Mm-hmm.
Spring Boot Java and
Mm-hmm.
Hibernate microservices technology stack.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So like I also worked as front-end developer. Like I know in front-end technologies like JavaScript and
Mm-hmm.
HTML and basic Angular. And
Okay.
after that, like in database side, I worked on always like relational databases,
Mm-hmm.
SQL Server, Oracle, and like this.
May I know like which version you are more comfortable of unit test cases, JUnit 4 or JUnit 5?
JUnit 4.
Okay, so did you get a chance to work with JUnit 5?
Not JUnit. It was there also. Like
Okay,
I'm not so sure.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
it's fine.
I'm not doing like deeply in testing, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, like I was responsible for for testing my on functionality,
Okay.
which I was creating.
So did you get any error or did you face any challenge while serialization and deserialization?
Uh, while deserialization, I exactly no, I don't know about the thing.
Okay, okay, it's fine. Okay, so moving ahead, do you know the meaning of pass by value and pass by reference in Java?
Parse by value and parse by reference. I have seen that, but
Okay.
uh, where I don't know, like parse by value. No, I'm not.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
it's fine.
yeah,
Okay.
so like it is
Mm-hmm.
like uh, while we were doing this JSON thing, there
Mm-hmm.
I saw that like it was parsing the JSON by
Mm-hmm.
value in Java. So
Mm-hmm.
there we were using that thing when we were using Jackson library. So, but the
Okay.
particular thing, I don't know. Yeah,
Okay, it's
I
fine.
forget
So
this
which
particular.
Spring Boot version you are currently using? Spring Boot 2.x or 3.x?
We recently converted from Spring Boot 2 to Spring Boot 3.
Spring Boot 3. What
Yeah.
were the challenges you guys faced?
From Spring Boot 2 to Spring Boot
Mm-hmm.
3.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, if I say, then we changed our Spring security mechanism. Okay.
Okay.
Because like there is
What
a
was the mechanism?
in Spring Boot 2, there is a web at the rate web configure was
Uh,
there. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
But we changed that
Mm-hmm.
like now in Spring Boot 3, it is not there.
Okay, okay.
And mm,
Okay. And have you worked with uh, Jakarta dependency?
uh yeah, like Jakarta is now replaced by Java X.
No, no,
Uh,
Java X is replaced by Jakarta
okay,
in Spring
sorry.
Boot 3.
Java
Yeah.
X is replaced by Jakarta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When
yeah, yeah.
someone migrates this 3 2 to 3, so they guys face this
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
dependency issues like Java X to Jakarta. And like if someone is using some older version of Java, so because 3 is
Mm-hmm.
compatible with Java 17, Spring Boot
Yeah,
3. Yeah.
complete. Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Okay, so uh, do you know Java is 100% object oriented or it's partially object oriented?
No, Java is partially object
Partially
oriented
object oriented.
because of uh, this intent care we are using there. So,
Okay.
like because of this thing, it is partially and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So that's why it invented like wrapper classes were there. Yeah, for these things for primitive data types.
Okay.
To change those primitive data types because
So
our
is there any
hibernate always
is
deals
there
with
any benefit being partially object oriented?
partially object oriented. So like benefits I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
like it can work. It is flexible to use because it is not like following all those
Mm-hmm.
things.
Okay,
So
okay.
yeah, because of this primitive data types, and it is also not giving us this multiple inheritance with
Mm-hmm.
classes. So
Okay,
it is partial.
okay, okay. Uh, Okay, so Madhuri, I will like to share one important thing with you. Actually, we had launched complete interview preparation material, structured step by step by myself, experts, and MNC's interviewers. And the best part is that now no one need to go anywhere else to prepare interviews. There is a 99% chance that interview will ask question from this material. So basically, it contains PDFs with all interview question and answers, for Java, Spring Framework, Maven, Git, Spring Boot, Spring Security, Spring Data, JPA, Kafka, microservices, Java coding question, Stream API coding questions, and many more. I have provided the link to get this in below description. And if someone needs this material plus two real enterprise client projects for reference, plus one-on-one lifetime doubt sessions and referrals to the big MNCs, then they should check the interview preparation kit. I have provided a link for this as well in the description below. So now moving to our interview. Did you get a chance to use system.exit in your project?
System.exit thing in my
Yes.
project. Uh, I put it accidentally in one of the state, one of the
Mm-hmm.
function, but it was wrong there.
Okay.
Actually, I should not use there.
Uh,
But I don't know. Like I always
mm-hmm.
see, like whenever if you use this by mistake,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere, then it
Mm-hmm.
gives you a big error.
Okay.
So
It's fine. So moving ahead, do you know about heap dump?
heap dumps.
Heap
Uh,
dumps.
is it related to heap memory?
It is related to memory leaks.
Okay.
So do you know what is memory leak here in Java?
Yes. So
Yeah.
like like heap dumps, I think like it is related to heap memory. At the specific point of time we need to do like
Mm-hmm.
this heap dumps. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and if I see then the Java heap memory where Java objects are stored during the runtime in the
Mm-hmm.
Java application. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
the heap is divided into several regions that time.
Okay.
Like there
Okay.
is young generation and the
Mm-hmm.
old generation, and the perm gen, which is now replaced by meta space. Yeah, after
Mm-hmm.
Java 8. So heaped up contents like all the object currently in memory. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
they are there, and like references between those objects showing like how they are each other. Okay, so like we need to analyze those heap dumps at a
Mm-hmm.
particular time. Okay, so it can be analyzed using various tools like
Mm-hmm.
as the
Visual VM.
memory, as you were saying. Yeah, so the like using, I think like using JDK tool also we can use this thing, we can do this thing, analyze this heap
Yes,
dump.
yes, we can do. And there are some other
Yeah,
tools as well, like Visual
J
VM and
visual VM and
Eclipse Mat.
yeah.
Mm.
So these tools
Yeah.
we can use there.
Okay. 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 So moving ahead, what are hash code and equal methods of the object class?
Okay, so hash code and equal methods of object class, it is
Mm-hmm.
basically useful while we are using the hash map
Mm-hmm.
memory allocation. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that time, like if we use the hash map functionality, if I want to implement hash map, there we can use this hash map, hash code and equals. Hash code is basically useful when we change our key, we give our key and it gives us
Mm-hmm.
the hash code, and that from that hash code we are able to get the index position on
Mm-hmm.
the heap map under the hash set. And
Okay.
yeah, like equals is basically useful when we check the value of that particular key on that particular memory location.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Got it. So What happens if you override equal but do not override hash code method?
There is a contract between hash code and equals method.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if we are overriding equals, then we have to override hash code as well.
Okay. But what
Yeah.
if you don't?
It will give you like the the same thing will come at the same place. It
Mm-hmm.
goes everything,
Okay, okay.
all the
Got
data.
it. Okay, so moving ahead, do you know about concurrent hash map?
Yes.
Okay. So what would happen if two threads tried to update the same key in the concurrent hash map at the same time?
Uh, Actually, concurrent hash map is basically we use for the multi-threaded environment. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and concurrent hash map, like it divides into the whole hash map into the segments. Okay, and then
Mm-hmm.
particular in one segment there is one node entry.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so multiple threads can work on different segments at one time. Okay,
Okay.
but if one thread is working on one node, then the other
Uh-huh.
thread cannot work on particular node in that segment. Okay, it
Okay.
have to wait for particular time, and after that it can start its working. But it can simultaneously work with different segments.
Okay. Okay. So why should we use immutable objects as keys in a map?
Immutable objects we are using because
And what happens if we
like
use
we are
mutable
not able
objects?
to change this.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it's in
So
final
what
list.
happens if we use mutable objects?
So it will create, if we are using mutable state
Mm-hmm.
objects as a
Mm-hmm.
key, uh, immutable will always give us different memory locations.
Okay.
Okay, like it is related to indexing. Uh, because via those objects we do the hash coding, and those
Mm-hmm.
hash coding will give us the indexing. So, like, yeah, that's what
Okay. Okay. Got it.
I'm thinking.
Okay. So moving ahead, how does the performance of a hash map change when the hash collision increases, and what can be done to handle it?
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so there is always one threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what we say this balancer, load balancer. I don't know the particular
Mm-hmm.
thing, but its value is 0.75.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so whenever the threshold occurs, so it gives the new memory for that
Mm-hmm.
particular hash map. Okay, so in that it firstly take the for like there is already one hash map. Okay, it is there we see the collision. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the threshold occurs at the same time, like it is completed. Okay, so we need to renew that particular memory in new hash code. So it will
Mm-hmm.
copies all the objects in the new one,
Mm-hmm.
all the values in the new one hash code, and after that
Mm-hmm.
it do the processing.
Okay. Okay. Do you know about marshalling and unmarshalling?
uh I have seen those things.
Okay.
I think
And
Mars.
do you know about comparable interface?
Yeah, yeah, I know.
So comparable interface has only one abstract method.
Yes.
Okay, then why
Compare.
is a comparable interface not a functional interface if it has a one abstract method?
I've seen this thing. Mm, no, I don't know why it is not functional.
Because it has compare two method which can be introduce another method by overriding it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes. Okay. So moving ahead, have you heard about cohesion?
Collision?
Cohesion.
Cohesion. Yes, I heard about it.
Okay.
Cohesion and
Okay. Okay.
Java. So, It is related to that refers like
Mm-hmm.
just a second focus.
Uh, how
Single
closely
body. Can you?
related and
Yeah. Yeah. Fine,
responsibilities.
fine, fine. Yeah. So, like, the degree of the element it check, like,
Mm-hmm.
to which elements in the module belong together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, like, yeah. So, like, this is the high cohesion. Always, it has a clear responsibility. Okay. So, while if we do like low cohesion means the module may perform a variety of
Mm-hmm.
unrelated roles.
Okay. Got it. Have you used arrays.sort
Yes.
and collections.sort?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between these two?
Arrays.sort is basically it is useful for arrays, and
Okay.
collection.sort when we want to sort our array list or these things.
Okay. Mm. Do you know the sorting algorithm does this arrays.sort use internally?
Yes, that collection.sort internally uses this. Uh,
Okay.
I'm
Uh,
not
like
getting a question. Like, what are you
like
trying to say?
uh, these algorithms is based on some core algorithms like collections.sort and arrays.sort. They are based on some core algorithms that is predefined. So I just wanted
Yeah,
to know, like, do you know on which algorithm they are using internally for sorting?
arrays.sort. Like it is internally, it sorts always our array in ascending
Uh-huh.
order,
Mm-hmm.
and it uses like the custom comparator
Okay.
inside it. Yeah.
Okay. So moving ahead. So how does the performance of arrays.sort compare with sorting primitive types versus objects?
Can you repeat your question?
Like if I want to sort primitive data types versus objects by using arrays.sort, so what would be their performance differences?
Okay, so
Yeah.
how differs?
Like
Mm,
sorting primitive types is generally faster than sorting objects.
yes, yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Because primitives are handled with less overhead and memory management, something like that.
Okay,
Okay.
but the time complexity for those both sources and log n.
Yeah. Time complexity is same. So there will be slightly differences.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Okay. So moving ahead, can polymorphism lead to performance issues? And if yes, so in what scenario?
Okay, polymorphism. In polymorphism, as we use like that overloading, method overloading, and method
Mm-hmm.
overriding. Yeah. So I think like if we overloads, like there are many
Mm-hmm.
what to say if we overloads like many methods in polymorphism. Okay, so that time I think like it may occur that particular thing, like it will take much time because
Mm-hmm.
compiler decided at compile time like which method it have to
Uh-huh.
overload. And
Yes.
yeah, overriding is the same thing, but
Okay.
so I think like method dispatching overhead is there in
Hmm.
polymorphism,
Method
like
dynamic
yeah,
method
yeah,
dispatch.
dynamic dispatch, correct.
Hmm. Okay. Do you know what is n+1 problem in Hibernate?
And plus one, I once read about it, but
Okay.
uh,
Okay. So
this,
going ahead,
yeah,
what, do you know the difference between JDBC template and JPA repository?
yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so in JDBC template, basically, it is particular for one database. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it is, the queries are also very specific regarding the
Mm-hmm.
database. But
Mm-hmm.
in uh and yeah, the one more thing, like it basically it contains, like, connections statement and the result set like this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there is no transaction management inside this. But if we say JP is just for the specification, it's not the overall thing. But we use Hibernate for JP implementation.
Okay.
Okay, so in Hibernate we have that opportunity where we can use the transactions. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and so it is more beneficial, and it is also not DB specific queries are there. There is HQL queries. Okay, we can use criteria typed
Mm-hmm.
queries are there. Okay, so like yeah, so it is much more extensible than JDBC.
Mm. Okay, correct. Okay, so moving ahead, so how can you design a custom object to be safely used as a key in a hash map?
Okay, so you are saying the custom object as a key, like immutable classes.
Yes.
Okay, so for immutable classes, we can do, firstly, like make it the final.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like it is always like value is not changed
Mm-hmm.
with the same time. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
with the final class, there are final fields as well. Okay, so private final fields we can use, and the constructor, like there is no setter methods. Okay, and constructor initialization, where all the fields are initialized via the constructor only, so it
Mm-hmm.
bounds that. Okay, and yeah, we can use defensive copies also here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
so that way we can create the keys.
Yeah, yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Have you heard about hybrid inheritance?
Hybrid inheritance means uh, I'm just in my mind, it comes like, multiple inheritance, I'm thinking.
Uh, yeah, you are partially correct.
uh, Hybrid means multiple and multi-level, both, I think.
Hybrid inheritance means multiple plus single inheritance.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So it allows classes to inherit from multiple interfaces, but avoids the
Mhm.
complexity of multiple class inheritance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Fine.
Okay, so have you used Spring Boot dev tools?
Yes. So I used DevTools in a Spring Boot. It
Mm-hmm.
basically what it does, like it will automatically, when I do any code changes, it will
Mm-hmm.
automatically like build my project again. So there is
Okay.
no need to do again and again to
Uh,
build
okay.
this thing.
Can Spring Boot dev tools causes any issues in production environment?
Uh, yes, I think like in like I never worked in a production side, but what I think, like it should be
Mm-hmm.
not there, this
Okay.
DevTools functionality, because there are many changes they do at production side, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they want to start the server and sometimes they want.
Okay, okay. Okay, so can you tell me some methods to improve API performance?
API, REST API, you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, REST API. What's the difference between REST API and SOAP API?
I never worked with SOAP APIs.
Okay. But
Yeah,
do you know?
so no, I don't know
Yeah, it's fine.
APIs.
Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah, tell me
so
the how methods to improve API performance.
okay, so for API performance, what I think, like the throughput we have to see, and the latency of
Mm-hmm.
that API, and regarding the resource utilization, like how we are using our CPU, memory, and the
Mm-hmm.
bandwidth, and if we are doing any serialization thing. Okay, like in which format we are sending the data and we are
Mm-hmm.
receiving it. Okay. So, and database performance also sometimes use this thing. So for that thing, we can use like caching, okay,
Yes, caching.
in APIs, and
Mm-hmm.
we can optimize our database queries.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, once in my one of the project, once we were struggling with big database queries, and
Mm-hmm.
it were always taking a lot of time to fetch the data from the database. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so after that, I see those queries, and I started to change those queries, and like convert those queries into the stored
Yes.
procedures.
Mm.
So it really reduces the lot of complexity and timing also.
Okay.
So yeah, like sometimes we need to check these things as well. And if there is asynchronous processing, we can follow,
Yeah, we
then we
can
should
follow
follow with
asynchronous.
those things.
So
Rate
did you
limiting always.
rate limiting?
Yeah,
So did you get a chance to write a test case for async method?
for whole async method you're saying.
Yeah.
Hmm, test case for async method. No, I never do like any extra things in test cases.
Okay. So
Yeah.
as per you, test cases are should be there or not?
Yes, it always should be there for
Okay.
me.
So
Yeah.
why? Why?
Because uh like it always, even nowadays I'm trying to use, like this TDD approach. Like firstly, I always try to create my test cases so I
Mm-hmm.
can see I can understand all the like all the
Mm-hmm.
cases,
Mm-hmm.
like which can be happen. And for async, what I'm thinking, we should use like completable future,
Mm.
okay, in our test cases. And yeah, so like this future thing I only remember for now, but I
Okay.
never used it myself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's fine. Moving ahead, do you know about connection pooling?
uh Connection pooling, yeah, we always pull connections, so
Okay. So what parameters can we tweak in connection pooling to optimize performance?
okay, for optimizing performance,
Mm-hmm.
like in connection pooling, it always check for the data source. Yeah, whatever the data source have the
Mm-hmm.
values for particular database, it takes that thing. So like
Pooling size, connection timeout. Uh,
okay.
yeah, these
So
are
like,
some params.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not so much aware, but
Okay.
yeah, like it always, like we always initialize with our connection pool with a few of the properties, and then the connection
Okay. Okay.
request, and yeah, like this we do, but I never emphasize on these things.
Mm. Okay. So, have you exclude auto configuration before?
Yes, yeah. Uh, so for particular, I did that for
So, how many
this.
ways you can exclude?
Okay, so auto configuration, we can do this thing. As I know now, it is of two ways. Like if there is any in your POM, you can do this thing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
by using the exclusion take.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
Exclude. So,
exclusions,
what,
then
like what?
exclusion, and then
Okay. So,
uh,
you are telling to exclude the dependency.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Which
if there's
dependency?
something,
May I
or the
know?
auto configuration also, when we use our application, like man method,
Mm-hmm.
there is at the rate enable auto configuration. There we can use that particular take. Yeah. Now, which thing you are asking me? That uh,
Excluding this auto
exclude,
configuration.
yeah, exclude or exclude name, there are two things we
Mm-hmm.
can use. And via that we can give the particular class file name,
Okay.
and we can
So,
exclude.
what issues might arise if you exclude a critical auto configuration class accidentally?
It will definitely give us the error, because if it
Mm-hmm.
needs that thing while starting our program, okay, if it is related to our application, this thing,
Mm-hmm.
what to say, application class loader files, okay,
Okay.
then it will definitely give you the error because it needs that files.
Mm-hmm.
It will not start your program.
Okay. Okay. Mm, do you know about Hetios?
Hmm.
H
In
A
REST
T E O
APIs,
A S Hetios.
HATEUS, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
In
how does it
REST,
relate to REST APIs?
uh, Hatios, I once used it in a Java, I think, like,
Okay,
uh,
so it is a
it's a
constraint.
constraint, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a constraint. It's a kind of constraint in REST application architecture.
Mm,
So there I used it, yeah. It's
okay.
like it's related to hypermedia.
Yeah, yeah, it's related to hyperlink, hypermedia links.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so can you tell me what's the difference between constructor injection and setter injection?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, in constructor injection, it will take all the parameters,
Mm-hmm.
okay, all
Mm-hmm.
together of that dependent class, and in
Okay.
Satyr, it partially inject. But in
Mm-hmm.
constructor, it fully inject that thing. But this, for the safer side, like constructor injection is better than Satyr injection.
Okay. Okay. Got it. So have you worked with microservices?
Mm-hmm.
Microservice
Yes.
architecture? Okay.
Yeah.
So how can you pass tokens between microservices in a secure manner?
Uh, like we implemented all that security thing on our API gateway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and API gateway was responsible to manage this security
So
with
which API
different
gateway
different.
you are using?
We were using Zool.
Zool. Okay.
Yeah,
Have you heard about token-based authentication in microservice architecture?
token based authentication was there, but
Okay.
I'm not so aware. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's fine.
like in microservices, how it works internally, I don't know.
Okay, okay. It's fine. Uh, mm, so how you guys monitor and detect performance issues in a microservice environment?
Okay, monitoring the issues via using, like, we were using Zipkin for this thing.
Zipkin.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. All right. Moving ahead. Mm, have you worked with patch method?
page means the partial update.
Okay. So did you get a chance to do this?
Yes, once we were using that thing with at the admin panel, we used this thing, the
Okay.
page method.
Uh,
So like it
so can you
always
tell me a scenario
ensures like.
where we should use this?
So it always ensures that whatever the entity we are going
Mm-hmm.
to update, okay, it must be there in the database.
Okay.
Okay. But if it is not there, it will definitely give us the error. So if there are
Mm.
slightly changes, like the phone number may change of a user or something, the small information,
Okay.
then we can use this thing. But when we are assured ki, okay, we are not going to create this if it is not there.
Mm-hmm.
So in that scenario, we can use
Okay. Okay.
page.
Got it. Uh, mm, so how do you design an API that supports both JSON and XML responses based on content type?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, which supports both.
XML and JSON.
Okay. So, okay. Like you are saying for response body.
Yes, like we are, if we want to return JSON as well as XML through our REST API, so how would we design?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So did you get a chance to work on this returning XML response through your REST API?
Yes, it was there actually when we were using.
Okay.
Yes, it was there actually. But
Uh-huh.
regarding the REST, in the REST controller, if we want both of them, then there is always one, which with the mapping we use the produces. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and in that produces we can give application JSON and application XML, both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that way it is able to like give in
Mm-hmm.
both kind of response.
Okay. What's the difference between returning a response entity versus a simple object through REST API?
Okay. uh yeah, with response entity, it is with always HTTP code and its
Mm-hmm.
content. Yeah, but in simple entity it is like we need to do this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is
Okay.
better, like it is best practice to use response entity for
Mm.
clear response.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Moving ahead. Mm, do you know the difference between safe and idempotent methods in REST?
Uh, yes, yes, yes. So, idem, okay, this both are idempotent, safe, like, when we fetch data from like gate or this thing, so it always give us the same response.
Okay.
Okay, like gate, head, options, so these are the safe things. And
Mm.
idempotent, like retrieving the same resources multiple times. But idempotent gate is also idempotent resource. Yeah,
Yes.
gate and put and delete, these are
No, no, no.
idempotent.
Sorry. Gate is a safe method.
No,
Put.
idempotent also, as I know. Yeah, gate is idempotent.
Okay.
As
Okay.
it, okay, gate, put, and delete. Yeah, these three
Mm-hmm.
are idempotent. So I was quite confused
Okay.
when you asked me. Yeah.
Okay. It's fine. So yes, Madhuri, it's done from my end.